If you're looking for those ultra deep sleeper running backs in this year's fantasy football draft to get an edge over your friends in your league, this is the video to be on, and you made it to the right place. Videos like these are being posted on this page frequently, so if you want to get an edge over your friends, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and gain some value. But you're going to want to stick around to the end of this video because our last player here, I guarantee you nobody has talked about, and he is a league winner along with all of these guys. But the first super deep running back I want to get this list started off with is Deuce Vaughn. At the moment, he is the backup behind Tony Pollard on the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm surprised nobody has talked about him yet. I do want to start this off by saying the Cowboys could always also go out and grab another running back, sign him, whatever they have to do. Dalvin Cook is still out there, but as of right now, I really don't trust Tony Pollard to be that number one bell cow, that guy running back on this team right now. And running backs have always been a sticky situation. Just because the opportunity is great for us doesn't mean it's great for the organization and what they essentially want. Just like last year, we saw Tony Pollard lead Zeke in pretty much every metric of fantasy football, as well as real football stats like yards per carry and yards per catch. And everybody wanted him to take over this backfield, but it just did not happen. And that is what I think is going to continue in this backfield this year. Tony Pollard is going to take the majority of the snaps and the percentages in this backfield, but there's going to be that one guy that is going to back him up. Now, he might not be a 50-50 split like Zeke and Pollard were, but let's look at this team and let me explain why Deuce Vaughn is going to be that guy out of the backfield. So if we go ahead and look at this team's roster right now, in the backfield we have Tony Pollard, Deuce Vaughn, Ronald Jones, and Malik Davis. And it looks like a decent amount of guys to have to beat out to be the number two, because he has to beat out Ronald Jones and Malik Davis. But this backfield is completely up for grabs, and this is why it's Deuce Vaughn. He was absolutely dominant in Kansas State before being drafted in the 6th round by the Cowboys. He led his team in rushing and receiving as a running back and totaled 43 touchdowns in his 3 years there. But that's just college. Let's look into why this actually means something for the NFL. If we look at the guys he has to beat out, Ronald Jones, he's been in the league for 5 years and has relatively underperformed the entirety of his career. He's had the opportunities to lead a backfield at times in his career, but just has not done what he needs to do with that. Maybe he'll get more work in the first couple weeks of the season, but this rookie running back in Deuce Vaughn isn't going anywhere. And even better for us, the Cowboys have an early week 7 bye. And if you don't know where I'm getting at with this, teams usually get their rookies more involved after their bye week, and this is just a historic fact. We saw this with Rachaad White last year and a countless amount of other running backs. The only competition I see in this backfield as of right now is Malik Davis, an undrafted rookie who did decent with his garbage time snaps that he got last year. He did average 4 yards per carry, and that's pretty average. But the Cowboys had to have seen some kind of potential in Vaughn, taking him in the 6th round if they already have these other running backs that they think are good. But considering how wide open this running back room is to be the backup behind Tony Pollard, a guy going in an ADP of 250 could be worth a look, and his value is probably only going to increase through training camp. And if you're going to take a bet on someone to back Tony Pollard up, make it be him. And if he's not, you can just drop him and nobody will ever pick him up, and it'll just be a win-win situation. But my next super deep sleeper that you need to keep in your head and in your notes is Jerome Ford. He is set up to be the backup behind Nick Chubb now that Kareem Hunt is off the team, and Dearness Johnson is now in Miami. Now in this situation, it's kind of similar to the Pollard one, but I do think Nick Chubb will be more of a bell cow than Tony Pollard will be. But that's only because the Cowboys organization historically never liked to give Pollard more than 50% of the snaps. Even when Zeke wasn't playing, they capped his carries. But there is still room in this Browns backfield to work behind Nick Chubb for a decent amount of fantasy points per game. And what I really like about this situation is that there is so much less competition in the backfield. He only has to beat out Demetric Felton for the RB2 spot here. And as we've seen, the RB2 spot in this Browns offense and organization is a pretty valuable one. He ran a 4.4 40-yard dash, and I really think he would be a complimentary piece behind Chubb. The Browns running back coach even came out and said Ford has the ability to do anything and everything he wants for this offense. He could be a really valuable receiving back behind Nick Chubb and could be rocketing up drafts in these next coming weeks. And it would also be a super smart idea to handcuff him with Nick Chubb, so if he were to go down, you have that backup to lean on. But my third running back here, 3 in a row, that is a super deep sleeper that is going to win you leagues possibly, is Leonard Fournette, and nobody is talking about him. And that is a great thing. After parting ways with the Buccaneers, he's come out and said that he only wants to play for a contending team, and we can't take this out of context. I don't think he's just going to join a team and be a dominant running back like he was in his previous years, but him going undrafted in fantasy football leagues as the RB65 is insane. He ranked 4th in running back targets and 12th in fantasy points per game and totaled over 1,200 yards last season, and that's just not going to disappear. To make this even better, he played through last season with an injury which made him less efficient. Most people don't even know that, and I barely even remembered it until I did some research for this video, and that's why I am sure everyone is seeing him as an old, inefficient running back that is just not appealing at all, and this is where we get the advantage. But he's only 28 years old. He's younger than Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, James Conner, Aaron Jones. All of these running backs are running backs that are still good. And these have been 3 super deep fantasy football sleepers at the running back position that nobody is going to tell you about. You want to be going for straight upside in these later rounds of fantasy football drafts, and don't let anybody tell you to play it safe. Roll the dice. The ends of drafts are when leagues are won, so make it risky. But if you've made it this far, let me know what your sleeper or favorite running back is in the comments and help everybody out, and I'm going to be in there too. I'll see you guys in there.